a single staring human eye of white surrounded by a black border, with a pupil made up of two tall, slim gray towers with a gold key between them. Hello and welcome back to another Realms Lore episode. I am here with the original creator of the Forgotten Realms, Ed Greenwood himself, and today we are talking about a place called Sembia. You want to fill him in a little bit, Ed? Well, specifically, because, talking about Sembia is a really big topic. Right now, in this video, we're going to talk about the Heraldry of Sembia. All these self-styled nobles, and they're using blazons, badges, and so on, so you can recognize who is about to ride you over in the streets. If you're enjoying these Realms Lore videos, please consider subscribing to the Patreon. That's patreon.com/EdGreenwood. Become a protector of the realms, and your support is what allows us to continue making videos here for you. But in the interim, please enjoy this episode about heraldry in Sembia. If you are in Sembia and just want to be called Lord, amass a staggering amount of money, take up residence in Sembia, and proclaim yourself a Lord. This has worked for scores of individuals over the last few centuries. As individuals, many heralds beyond the local level can defend themselves very effectively using magic items of tremendous power that come with their office. However, they customarily do nothing by force. What they do is censure, and because they establish noble rankings, that is, precedents, outside the walls of a city or the borders of the realm and legitimize status, very few people dare to argue. So, if you happen to be newly married into a junior noble family and happen to be attending a revel in Waterdeep, certain old money Waterdavian nobles may cut you dead. If, however, both you and they show up at a dinner in Scornubel, and a squabble arises over who gets the best seat, it will be the local herald, not the old money nobles, who determines who outranks who. Likewise in Cormyr or anywhere else, and this is especially important for folk of Sembia or the border kingdoms, where all titles are recent, fanciful, and often invented by their current holders. The heralds don't pass moral judgments on the taste expressed in blazons or upon the legitimacy of holders, so long as the holders haven't been informed by a herald of the law of arms as pertaining to them personally, and then ignored those instructions. The heralds are kept so busy in the border kingdoms and Sembia that they do charge upfront fees for blazons, not self-bestowed titles, only the use of badges or full arms. This is typically 250 gold pieces per person once per grant of arms in the border kingdoms, and 5,000 gold pieces for the same thing in Sembia. The full Sembian fee is reduced to 2,000 gold pieces for unmarried sons and daughters of less than 12 winters in age, though the moment marriage occurs or the titled parent dies, the shortfall 3,000 gold piece fee must be paid, or use of the arms must cease until it is paid. So Sembia and the borders are full of lords who have no blazon, or who use only a single device, a crescent moon or a slantwise dagger, as a badge. In practice, the heralds will let an individual add a sheath or scabbard, ribbons, drops of blood, and a severed hand gripping a weapon without considering it a second charge and worthy of their attention. But adding a field, the background in heraldry, or a second crossed weapon is definitely a second charge. The border kingdoms even boast dozens of self-proclaimed emperors of various sorts and stylings, and only a few of them have the right to a blazon. Land ownership, by the way, means nothing to the heralds, but it may matter very much to a kingdom, and if the king or high chamberlain of a realm says you can't be a baron in their land because you don't own a barony, maintain troops and castles for the king, and so on, then the heralds will side with that complaint and tell you to either depart the realm or to remove the part of your title that alludes to the geographical region of the realm, so you can still be Baron Karth, but no longer Baron Karth of the Stonelands. The heralds are very good at noticing and denying attempts to allude to a locale by an ancient name, or claim ties to a fallen or vanished realm, and so on, and frown very severely, as they like to put it, on such distortions. If, on the other hand, you can prove your lineage entitles you to bear a title that the king or high chamberlain is denying you, the heralds will insist on you being accorded it. Which is why there are lots of titled folk permanently in exile all over the realms, far from the lands they claim. And no, there really isn't a lot of difference between a rich dragon's rump with a grand house and a grander knack for inventing florid titles, and a legitimately recognized noble, except for a herald's blessing. Again, the heralds don't recognize this title or that title. They just say, you can't have 3 green crosses on your shield like that, Lord falling downstairs, because there's an emperor already using that design. May we suggest this or that? We've brought along a few drawings. Please note that the Raven and Silver, shown on page 58 of the Grand Tour of the Realms book in the 2nd edition Forgotten Realms box set, and many other places, is the arms of Sembia as a whole, used on border markers, way bridges, and on banners of mercenaries hired by all of Sembia. Daerlun, the proud bull, a brown, featureless silhouette of a bull's head facing the viewer directly head-on, with 2 large, upswept, symmetrical horns and a small golden wagon wheel, 8 spokes, all compass directions and 45-degree angles, floating between the horns, that is, on a triangular white shield, point down, horizontal surface up. Point is elongated to pull the triangle out of equilateral shape into long and narrow, vertical axis long. Denotes the importance of the city as a livestock and caravan center. Ordulin, the glory, a golden wagon wheel of 12 spokes. Draw a cross to divide the circle in 4, and then instead of splitting each quadrant with a single spoke at the 45-degree angle position, divide the quadrant into 3 equal wedges with 2 spokes, with an arch-backed golden throne facing the viewer directly at its hub on a field of forest green. Denotes the ruling city of Sembia, its radial street pattern, and the fact that Sembia is founded on merchant prosperity, hence the radial pattern being depicted as a wagon wheel. Saerloon, the vigilant eye, a single staring human eye of white surrounded by a black border, with a pupil made up of 2 tall, slim gray towers with a gold key between them. The tower on the left has a conical cap, and the one on the right lacks a cap and has crenellated battlements, teeth to you and me, being shorter than the one on the left by the amount of the cap. The gold key is out of scale, being as large as the towers, with its barrel paralleling the towers, a simple 2-tooth business end at the bottom of the eye, and a handle made of 3 joined open loops at the top of the eye. This denotes Saerloon's wealth, splendor, and good guardianship of its riches. Some would say its paranoia over hidden treasures and stashes. Selgaunt, the sun over the waves, a gold circle with 2 short, wavy blue lines underneath it, the uppermost of the 2 being half the length of the lower one and centered along it directly below the sun, usually shown on a scarlet field. Denotes the most splendid city in Sembia. This is haughty local opinion, of course, situated where the river Arken, El Zimmer, to Sembians, meets the waters of the Sea of Fallen Stars, The little wave is the river, the longer one is the sea. Urmlaspyr. High voyaging. A thick black-bordered diamond, long axis, horizontal, with a row of 3 identical white sails on a field of blue. The sails all bell or bulge outwards to the left and display 2 points to the right at their tops and bottoms, where they're attached to invisible masts. This denotes the shipyards of the city. Yhaunn. The sash of riches. A shield, equilateral triangle with point down, horizontal surface up, of steel gray, crossed diagonally, upper right to lower left, by a broad diagonal band of bright scarlet cloth, upon which are superimposed 3 gold coins, featureless circles, one at upper right in line with another at lower left, but the central one bumped up towards the upper edge of the band. This denotes the wealth the city has earned from its weavers, that is, textile exports. And that's the heraldry of Sembia right now, in the year 1499 DR. As the saying runs, give Sembians a month, and you'll see something grander.
Hi, welcome back to Realmspeak, and this time around, we're doing this. Mordenkainen. The senior member of the Circle of 8. Never, please, never, if you value your life, call him Mordy. Okay? Just don't. Mordenkainen. Many spells are named for Mordenkainen, and Elminster had to nurse him back to health after he was left a bit nutso. But that's Greyhawk history. So let's allow him to tell that story if he wishes. He probably doesn't want to. So Mordenkainen.